When Joe went out from the pit, it was still green. And just when he passed and went out into the warm-up lap, it turned to red.
So thank you so much for your time again. Actually, I wanted to do this short call to understand a bit better what happened with Joe last Sunday during the start procedure. Thing one, that according to the rules, the pit lane should have been open for 30 seconds after the last rider passed the line of the pit lane exit. Clearly, I wasn't there, as you know, because of the restrictions, let's say. But what I could understand from the TV broadcast, at least 47, 48 seconds passed when Joe left the pit lane. So my first question: how is it possible? Was the pit lane still open?
So I think there is 3 different stages that was some issues. One of them, it's more like us, we had to change from wet to dry, like most of the riders. And we start, with the shocks, with the pivot, with the front, and we had some issue. And then when we come to the rear wheels, something was not working, something was bending, and it took them a long time to do it. They had to fix something just to put back the wheels. In some point, IRTA came and tell us, okay, you need to go out. So we went to the pit. It took them, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds or 20-something seconds to fix it. This is what we had missing just to put the wheel back, and another few seconds to start the bike. But then they start already the warm-up lap. When Joe went out from the pit, it was still green. And just when he passed and went out into the warm-up lap, it turned to red. So this is the second thing that, more, as we understand from the race director, so it was their mistake. Nobody switched it back to red. Now Joe came, he don't know exactly how many seconds. He saw green, so he went out. And then what it's supposed to be, when he was out, they're supposed to wait for him to come and join to the grid in the back and then start. Something went wrong again with the communication to the marshal in the front. So when everybody lined up and the car was behind, they start the race. Nobody wait for him. Now he came and saw that he start pushing also. At this time, the race director, they talked with the car in the back and asked him to move to the side, let Joe pass, and then just let it continue. There's nothing too much to do or fix or anything. So it was few issue first from us, and then, with the light, and then on the start on the grid. And I think at this point, the race director said, okay, it is what it is. That's right. There's nothing they can do.
Well, I think what happened to you guys on the grid, it can happen. I mean, we are talking about life. We are talking about sport. I can imagine that you are not happy with it. I wouldn't be happy also as a rider, for example, but things can happen. And that's why we have the start procedure, and it's written down that if you have any issue after the 3 minutes display, unfortunately you must be removed from the grid. So I understand that you are sad because of this, but I think this is something that can happen. But I still don't understand how it's possible that after almost 50 seconds the pit lane is still open. But one more thing, just again asking, because I read this in the rule book, that in theory, and this is another thing that I couldn't see on TV because Joe didn't have any onboard camera, if I'm right, or at least the pictures I couldn't see. Did he pass the safety car during his warm-up lap? Because there is one safety car following the grid and the riders, and there was another safety car waiting the riders next to the pit wall on the straight line, and that safety car moved behind them. and did the first lap. But because in the
I
rule
saw it
book,
only on the TV because,
you
you
too.
know, when they start, I was in the pit lane, but with the TV to watch the start. So I saw that he's coming and they start. And as I remember, it was only one car that, you know, behind the bikes. So when they start, in some point, they move to the side and let Joe to pass. But it was like, I think on the straightaway in the end, turn one. It was weird because
you don't know basically whether Joe could overtake the other safety car that followed the bikes on the warm-up lap. Because I think that, as I could understand from the TV and as I remember from the field when I can be there, they're using two separate safety cars. So one follows the bikes during the warm-up lap. And the regulation says that if the rider starting the warm-up lap from the pit lane cannot overtake this safety car, and the safety car arrives to the entry line of the pit lane earlier than the rider must come back to the pit lane and do the start or make the start from the pit lane.
I don't know, because I think like you, I saw only the TV. I couldn't see the pit, and, you know, we was like in shock. Okay, what's going on? It was too confusing for everybody.
Sure, but anyway, did they say anything? Or just...
No, everybody say, oh, you're going to get the black flag, what's going on, penalty. But I'm sure the race director understand that it was a sequence of issues that happened, and it's nobody's fault too much, but it is what it is. And the rider that on the bike cannot understand the second when he went out to the pit, it was too late, but it was green for him, he can go out. And when he came back and saw the car, but he saw the car moving to the side, so he just passed it and continue. But so they say, okay, you lost already your all advantage because he was in the front, like, you know, front line and pole position. It's unfortunate what he did, but for us, and I think for him especially, to see him coming from the back and be like 7 or 10 seconds behind the last one, get all the way to 6th position, I think it was a hell of a ride. It's like, I think for the outside, it was more than he was a pole position and get on the podium. It's like much more impressive ride what he did, you know.
Sure, the ride was impressive. I also wanted to say that finishing the 6th position and 29 seconds behind the winner. And I made my calculation, and on my calculation, because of all the things happened, he lost around 20 or maybe 30 seconds, because you can see that he lost 10 seconds in his first lap. But if you add the distance he had to do to arrive to the point where they start to count the lap time. So anyway, unfortunately, they cannot give it back.
No.
The possibility. So, yeah. I read some articles that the team can be in financial troubles, maybe because of the coronavirus pandemic, and this can be a reason not to extend the contract with Joe. Is there any truth in it?
I'll give you briefly. You know, my business partner and I, in general, we can run the team the next 5 years without sponsorship at all, zero. We don't have any problem to do it from personal money. Okay, it's not a business that we open the team for the business, or we need the income, or we need to do something. It's completely for the passion, the fun, but also take it to the next level and make it pro. So there is no financial issue, because people say, oh, there is not. It used to be Novomatic, and Novomatic went out, but company came and wanted to do sponsorship. They start one race, pandemic came, say, okay, we don't want to continue. It's fine. We can run without sponsors. So this is one thing. Second, Joe had a 2-year contract with the team. That originally I bought the team in the end of 2018, because we signed contract with the team, and then we found out the team are in a really financial trouble, and they're not going to continue. So Joe had a contract with the team that's going to be closed, shut down. So I went in and as a partner, and then I put some money, and then understand that it's completely disaster. So I took over completely. So we paid a lot of debt from the back, 17, 18, and 19. We continue, and Joe have the spot for the 2 years, 19 and 20. But one of the goal of the big picture that we have with the team is more to create a platform for American rider to come from US to the World Championship through this team, and then try to help them for the years, 2 years, 3 years, and then they can move forward either to a different team or go to MotoGP. So, we've been together, Hopkins and I also managing Joe as well as a personal manager. So we part of, what he's doing in his career. And obviously we want him to succeed because it's also our successful. And very simple. And so he's moving out to a different team. We're going to have a new American rider coming in. And so next year is going to be 2 American riders at the grid. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring America back into the MotoGP through the team. So, yeah, that's very simple.
So it's decided already that Joe is going to move to another team, and I guess that other team maybe will be Italtrans. Is that correct?
He didn't sign yet anything, but probably is.
And can you tell us anything already about the new rider, or it's too early?
No, it's not too early. I cannot say, but it's going to be official big press conference next week in the US. We want to keep it because it's going to be something big. But yeah, the deal is done and it's going to happen. It's going to be really, really good and interesting for the next year. Yeah, very simple.
But your other rider will remain then Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez stay with us.
Okay.
We are very happy with him. The start of the season was a little bit difficult. Obviously, with the break that we have between Qatar and going back to Jerez, I don't think he did good for him. But he's doing a good progress. I like him very much. He's a good guy. And yeah, we'll continue with him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.